Let's get this going here. So, welcome to another Wednesday Cosmic Rose Honey session. As per usual, how these sessions work is that we start off with the little Q&A circle. So, if you have any questions pertaining to anything that you're experiencing in your Kundalini process, your spiritual healing journey, anything that you want support on, we can talk about it. And then at about 6:20 p.m. Eastern, we'll begin the meditation. Today, I'm actually doing something a little bit different. So, normally we do the meditation completely in silence. But recently, when I do cosmic rose honey meditations on my own, I've been listening to nature sounds. And so it's not really like KCA music where it's like bam, 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 but it's just pure different nature sounds of birds chirping and leaves and stuff. And for me, it's been really powerful actually in training my brain to access the pure state of consciousness with nature sounds. So it came through today that we're going to start doing that here. So we'll give it a go and see how it goes. So it will no longer be completely silent and there will be some nice nature music in the background. All right. Marina, how have you been? Is there anything that I can support you with or any updates that you have? I think the last time I saw you was what was it, like early July? I think it was something like that.
I've been like okay recently. I've
Mm-hmm.
like going through the motions a little bit. Um, I feel like recently I've been kind of like up and down, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So the kind of feeling like anxious feelings that I was working with like last time me and you
Yeah.
we had a session. Um, it like it goes day by day.
Mm-hmm.
They still come up like here and there. I've been trying meditation has been kind of my new, well, I've been like always working with it, but I've never done it regularly, um,
Mm-hmm.
every day. So I've been trying to do that. That's been like the past 2 weeks or so. So we're like trying to add that in to see if it'll start to settle me down a little bit.
Yeah. So around those anxious feelings, do you know exactly like what specifically you're feeling anxious about? Does it just come in a wave without reason, or how has that been like manifesting in the experience in your body?
So a lot of times it is kind of just like waves that come through, but I often have like thoughts associated with them. They're usually surrounding like the same thing. I think I talked to you about it. I don't know if you remember because it was a while ago, but I also have OCD, so like it'll focus on different like themes a lot, so that'll come through.
Mm-hmm.
But they can be just kind of like random, no trigger at times.
Mm-hmm. Is there like one in particular that you've been feeling the most present, like even in the last day, like maybe today? Like, is there one particular thought or one kind of loop that this anxious feeling is bringing up in particular?
A lot of times it still has to do around like my relationship, even when there's no reason for it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a subtype of OCD called ROCD. So that's what I technically have, but it like hooks on to different relationships in your life. But mainly it's like with my partner, but it can kind of jump to different relationships.
Hmm. Are you open, like in the next few minutes, if we just create a little space to get to know this part of you a little bit more, the part of you that is feeling anxious, like specifically around your relationship, just kind of like getting curious about what it might be trying to tell you or bring forth for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So, if you were to connect to those thoughts or that sensation right now, is there a certain part of your body that you first feel this impulse coming through, that impulse to feel anxious, to latch on to something in a relationship?
Mm, a lot of times the anxiety itself kind of like manifests in the solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my like personally, I believe my intuition is located more in my like womb space versus solar plexus. But
Mm-hmm.
my therapist and I have kind of like figured out that my OCD tries to mimic my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
but
So,
definitely solar plexus area.
okay, cool. So if you put a hand over your solar plexus area and you just place a hand there, I want you to bring your awareness to how your hand touches that solar plexus area, the connection between your solar plexus, the skin of your palms, and just beginning to take a deep breath into this area, breathing right into the space beneath your palms, taking a deep inhale in, exhale out. Feel yourself beginning to soften into that space in your solar plexus, where this part of you that feels anxious, that feels that tendency to latch on to some part of a relationship and think about it. Can you feel that part present underneath your hand right now?
Yes.
And we're just going to presence this part. There's nothing for us to do or change or any of that. I just want you to start to breathe a couple of more cycles here at your own pace. So, allowing your breath to be deep and full. And as you breathe in, you're intentionally sending that loving breath right to that space underneath your palms, that part of you that feels anxious. And as you exhale out, you feel your awareness softening right into it, almost creating like this sacred cocoon around this part, just letting it know you are welcome here. And perhaps if it feels good for you, you can repeat that in your mind or even say it out loud through your voice. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
Just continuing to breathe, breathing in that sense of welcoming, breathing in that spaciousness that perhaps is beginning to be created through welcoming this part. How does it feel to just say those words and begin to presence this part in your solar plexus? Are there any particular sensations coming through, feelings coming through, or thoughts coming through as you create this space to be with this part of you?
It's like more warmth.
Mm-hmm. So just breathing into that warmth. And as you feel this connection with this part of you that tends to feel anxious sometimes, how do you feel towards this part of you?
Mm, Kind of like sad for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just feeling that with your heart, perhaps through your heart, radiating that witnessing and compassion for this part of you. And maybe you can just begin to ask this part of you that has that tendency to be anxious, what are you afraid of? Noticing if there's any words or images or sounds or just simply feelings that may reveal themselves to you. Is there anything that this part is sharing with you?
Mm, like quite a few things that I knew already, but
Mm.
have like mm, trying to see what's like dropping in.
Mhm.
It's like still these more unhealed parts of what I've been working on a lot. And while there is like progress being made, there are still like fragments almost of a lot of fear around like pure love and vulnerability and being in alignment with someone.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so valid to feel that. So normal, right? Receiving that love, that validation is so core to our human sense of belonging and safety. So I want you to just take this moment and let this part know that it's okay to have these fears. It's okay that despite the healing work you've been doing, there might still feel like there are these fragments. It's absolutely okay that they're there. And just letting them know that they are valuable, thanking them for being here with you, for showing you where else you get to even more deeply love yourself and hold space for yourself. Now, connecting still with this part within your solar plexus and just asking it, is there anything specific I can do for you that allows you to just feel a little bit safer and more seen today? Is there anything that this part can share with you around that?
Mm. It's almost saying like to continue the work.
Mm-hmm. And what does that look like specifically in terms of today, for example?
Mm. A lot of body work is coming through,
Mm-hmm.
dropping in.
Yeah, beautiful. How would this part feel if, in alignment with that body work, you spend maybe just even 2, 3 minutes every day just putting your hand where you feel that anxious feeling and you just breathe with it and you drop in and you practice holding that space for it and witnessing it? How would that feel?
Mm. Good.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That could be a very simple practice that you can bring in wherever you're at. Just taking that time to check in with yourself, to check in with that part, and letting it know that it is welcome here, that it gets to come along with you on this journey. It's not something that we have to get rid of. It's actually here with very valuable information. And so we thank this part, thanking yourself for your courage, taking a deep breath in, just making an ah sound on that exhale. Ah. When you're ready, slowly opening your eyes.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for allowing us to witness you. How did that feel? Just like, I think that was maybe about like 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes of just connecting to that part, breathing, beginning a dialogue with that part of yourself. How did that feel for you?
Mm, assuring, I think.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, so this is something that you get to bring in every moment in your life because these parts of us that present themselves as fear, as doubt, as anxiousness, pretty much most of the time, they're there with an intention, right? They're there because they feel unsafe around something. And usually, in many cases, that lack of safety is related to some kind of fear around a lack of love in some way, shape, or form. So, by default, of course, it is uncomfortable when we feel that in our body. And very validly, we're like, I don't want to feel that. Right. And so we try to find a way out of it. But the irony is that it's actually by creating the space to be with it that's one of our surest paths actually being able to heal our relationship with that part of ourselves and to not get rid of the anxiousness but actually integrate it as a part of our humanity that we love and that we accept. So I think this is going to be a really helpful practice for you ongoingly is just creating that time, as you said, spending that time to drop into your body to connect with this part and starting to ask it, what do you want me to know? Right? What are you trying to reveal to me? What are you trying to do for me? And that'll just help you more and more begin to uncover what might be the positive intention behind the anxiousness. Usually, it's trying to protect you from feeling some kind of pain. It's trying to prevent you from perhaps feeling a kind of hurt or something that you may have felt before. And that part's like, we don't want to get hurt again. We don't want to lose someone or something again. So let me just be anxious in anticipation of that potentially happening to try to keep you safe. So the more that we can understand why that part might be trying to do that job, the more that we can hold space and witness and actually give that part the love and safety that it's seeking, the more it'll start to just loosen its grip a little bit. Right.
mm,
Many times I almost see this like it's almost like talking to like a 3-year-old child or like a 5-year-old child, because in many cases that is like your inner child who has experienced the pains and the hurts and they don't know how to process it. So they're like, no, don't, don't get too excited. Don't get too happy. We have to be overthinking this. We have to be worrying about this. And just having that relationship with that part with time can allow it to ease a little bit. And essentially, instead of trying to get rid of this part of ourselves, we get to help this part of ourselves transform its role. So that part of you that is anxious, there's also many gifts I'm sure that that part of you has. Perhaps that part of you is really great at loving. That part of you is really great at feeling, right? That part of you is really great at creating. So by holding space for that anxiousness to express itself, we can also have that opportunity to give that part a new role to support you in your life. Does that all make sense?
yes. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to witness you. Amazing. Hi, Marcia. Welcome. So, Marcia, before you came on, I made a short little announcement that we're changing things up a little bit in here for today's session. So, there's actually going to be some music today. It's not going to be active music or anything like that, but we're going to be listening to some nature sounds in order to attune us to that pure state of beingness, which is what this Shakti consciousness is really guiding us to. So, let's get set up for our meditation. I probably have to run to pee before we get started, but I'll just share the sound, get that all set up, and then I'll run to go pee in a minute. All right, let's do a quick sound check. You can let me know if you can hear the music all good. Um, can you hear the music on your end? Yeah? Amazing. Okay, beautiful. So, again, the cosmic rose honey meditation is more so a resonance field of the Shakti consciousness. So, this is different than KCA, where in KCA we work more with the pranic aspect, so more the visceral life force energy. Here, we're more practicing expanding our consciousness. And the way that we do that is that we hold this openness in our heart, this openness in our field, and we soften and surrender to this downwards descending grace of the Divine Mother. So in Cosmic Rose Honey, this is done through the metaphor of visualizing visualizing that in the cosmos, there's our giant divine mother rose source that is pouring down this golden nectar, this beautiful frequency of energy that supports us in opening our higher centers, our third eye, our throat, our heart chakra, and facilitating the Kundalini awakening process. So, usually in cosmic rose honey, the sensations might be a bit more subtle. And again, it's more consciousness expansion. And especially with the music today, I think it'll be really interesting to see how that differs from the silent ones that we've been doing. So, the only thing that you have to do is just sit nice and comfortable. Open your heart, relax your being, focus on a long and deep breath. There's no need to focus on anything in particular, but I would say that the intention is just practicing melting, seeing if you can become one with your breath, become one with the sounds of the birds, the chirping, the nature that we're listening to. And that's basically what we're going to do. Sounds good? All right. I'm going to go to the bathroom. It'll take me like 30 seconds. So get nice and comfortable. When I come back, I'll let you know when we are beginning, and then we'll get started. All right. So come into your comfortable seated position, lengthening your spine. Taking this moment to roll out your shoulders, your neck, maybe your wrists, your fingers, anything that allows you to feel very, very comfortable in your space. Take one deep breath in through the nose, deep breath out through the mouth. Allowing yourself to come inwards, come into your heart space, opening up in receptivity. We'll begin the meditation, and I will let you know when the meditation is over. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, allowing your awareness slowly come back into this time, this space, this room.